breaking my foolish heart. I really don't know what to do about him. I've told myself I've got to do without him. There he goes as usual, my man, tearing my heart apart. He's made my life a mess. I've got to do this, I guess. Goodbye, Joe. From here I kiss you. Goodbye, Joe. I hope I don't miss you. If you had been on the square and had treated me fair and we'd not had a tiff, if you had not said I should go and jump right off the nearest cliff, if you had stayed off the make and you never had taken to coming home stiff, if I had not smelled perfume with a nasty, unfamiliar whiff, I'm gonna miss you, baby. Things could have been terrific. Oh, what's the diff? If you had not had the cheek to stay out for a week saying back in a jiff, if you were not such a two-timing guy, if you weren't, if you hadn't, if you didn't, if you weren't, if you hadn't, if you didn't, but you were and you had and you went and you did, and so goodbye. If I had not seen you take Geraldine on the lake in your flat-bottom skiff, if you were not found with Sue with your arms around her bare midriff, if I had not seen you pen sexy letters to Gwen in your own hieroglyph, if you had not left me home when you had 2 seats to South Pacific, I'm gonna miss you, baby. You were too darn prolific. Oh, what's the diff? If you were not such a hound who when game was around always picked at the sniff, if you were not such a two-timing guy, if you weren't, if you hadn't, if you didn't, if you weren't, if you hadn't, if you didn't, but you were and you had and you went and you did, and so goodbye. Oh, if when I asked where you'd been, you had not put my chin with a beautiful bit. If I had not always found purple lipstick on your handkerchief. If you had not told me eyes and looked in my eyes with a smile be a tip. If when I caught you with Kate, you had not said it's of no signif. I'm gonna miss you, baby, and I could get specific. Oh, what's the diff? If the best years of my life weren't spent as your wife with no marriage certif, if you were not such a two-timing guy, if